I mentioned both of these channels in this particular video, but I wanted to say it up front and just turn you on to two Ravens film guys that are on YouTube if you don't know. One is Rossi Hunter 2, another is All 22 NFL Cuts. Really like both of them, and check them out if you can. The Patriots made a living running out of these condensed wide receiver splits. Either crack plays or crack blocks, or here you see a wham block. They pull the tight end in early out of that condensed split, and he's going to come over 85 and grab our nose, our one tech here, and seal him out of the play. And what that does, apart from sealing him, the nose, enables both these guards to go unencumbered second level. And that's a problem straight away. The other thing you see is the wide receiver on the outside doing a nice job here, just enough of a job to get on Chuck Clark. Move him out of that hole. Good little run. 71 for the Patriots, the right tackle, was a very, very effective run blocker. At the guard position, you see him driving Judon out of the hole there in college. Good little run, just kind of finding that narrow crease. But again, when you watch their run game, there's a lot of wrinkles in terms of these cracks or this wham block here, coming over to get this interior player, that come down to execution. They just executed very well. The game plan's great, but the execution is as well. Pretty much locked to your backside. But again, look at this climb. Look how free both of these guards are to get on our linebackers. This linebacker, you can see what Queen is thinking. He's going to stay home in case of a cutback. Harrison comes down and takes on the block, but he's really sealed out of this play without being touched. Right there. Watch it again. It's a 3rd down and 4 call. And the Patriots run crack toss. Again, you see these tight splits to the boundary. Tight wide receiver splits to the boundary, and they get just enough. I think it's a really, really nice run. You'll see the tight end wide here. Somehow, yeah, there he is. And he gets opposite and outside of Judon here. Judon doesn't really sniff that out. You see Judon off the ball take an interior step. And that's just enough. And, well, that tight end drives him off the ball. A nice little pull here of the right tackle. Nice job getting outside. And you see this alley formed. Again, we talk about execution. Just great blocking of our DBs and second level guys. By the wide receivers in this case. This is just a runoff. This is just a good block on Peters, I think, outside. Great blocking here. And again, you see, I think, pretty good running. Just great execution, good running by the back. This is crack toss early. We want to watch the reaction of the linebacker Harrison here. Shoots that gap. Really disrupts the timing, gets on that lead block, that full back out of the eye here, demolishes him, just blows him up, and again, disrupts the ball carrier's path. I want to mention All 22 NFL Cuts as a channel well worth checking out. So another Ravens guy and a film guy. He did a video on these crack blocks. He pointed out how McPhee's gets doubled here. You see this guy on his hip. McPhee ends up splitting this. I think surely the Patriots watched on film how Peters oftentimes, our DBs generally, but Peters, if you can get him isolated out there and get him blocked with a fullback or with a pulling lineman in this case, you like your chances, but Harrison had something to say about that. Yeah, I should mention uh, all 22 NFL cuts, but also Rossi Hunter. Both of those are really good Ravens film guys that I think if you enjoy this sort of thing, you would really enjoy them. Derek at All 22 is a coach, and you can hear that in the way he articulates things. It's really, really good stuff. To the offense now. We've seen this a few times in the last few weeks where Mark is or appears to not be at the proper depth, and you see two receivers in close proximity, closer than they ought to be, right here. It's clear to me that Willie's running a prescribed pivot outside here. And it also looks very, very apparent to me that Mark has no idea what route Willie's running. You can see him kind of hesitate right there. And he pulls another defender to that side. Now, Willie, after he catches his football, is unbelievable in terms of the open field running and what he gets out of this little pivot route. But that defender that's on Mark should not be there. That's going to increase the chances that Willie pulls this off, obviously. It's also clear they give Mark some latitude in terms of these crosses. He's got to be aware of what Willie's running underneath here and cut this out wider. And, as I mentioned, you've seen this a few times now. And at least one of those times it resulted in a pick. Lamar has no chance here to set up and get rid of this football. Pick this play for a couple reasons. You see two guys on the outside here, and this is neither here nor there, but you see the exact same stab in and working out. But you see two guys here that I liked coming out. And the Ravens would have had a shot at drafting either one. That's Uche, Winovich. I don't know that either one will set the world on fire. I'm just pointing it out. And you see Uche do a good job bending the edge, along with Winovich. The other thing you see, too, is Bozeman, and I'm seeing this way too much. He's getting destroyed. A lot of whiffing. Here he just gets ripped down and beat. He's on the ground too much. This is not a revelation that this offensive line is really where it's at, right? That's really what it boils down to, is what's happening up front. There were a fair amount of just near misses throughout the second half here on offense and here on special teams. Things that just didn't quite go right. You see this deflection. It's almost imperceptible, the effect it has, but he's clear in that he blocks this ball. And so's the ref, right? He makes a deflection of this ball. Personnel's interesting. This was on punt team, basically your personnel through the third and fourth quarters. It was different. And a lot of that is based on field position, but interesting, you get a lot of big, fast linebacker DB types here on coverage. You see the working. He's going to try to attach himself in this gap. Clearly, that's what they're trying to set up. It does fool to some extent the block in the backfield. And he just gets a little piece of it, and it didn't go our way. Watch it again.